There is a divine reason you clicked on this video. It was not an accident. It was an appointment. Your name is already being mentioned in areas and groups you've never been in before. Not because of the crown on your head, but because of the wounds on your soul and the truth in your spirit that will not be hushed. The cosmos has a way of anointing its chosen soldiers with fire and difficulty rather than oil and acclaim. Do you feel it? That notion that you are unique, that you bear a burden that others cannot understand, and that you see through the world's illusions. You've been through storms that would have drowned armies, but here you are. You've gone through fires meant to burn you to ash, but you emerged forged into something indestructible. This is more than a motivational message. It's a heavenly affirmation. You've been stamped, sealed, and set aside. What you're about to hear will not only strike a chord with you, but will also reveal the true nature of your power. Prepare yourselves. This is your story. Welcome to the God Connection. 1. The heavens value survival more than success. In the vast cosmic ledger, the currency of esteem is raw, indisputable proof of survival rather than contrived prosperity. The world is captivated by the appearance of success. It's a meticulously planned production complete with leased props, flashing lights, borrowed glamour, and smiles so broad they shatter with the least strain. It's a picture session intended to persuade the public that a destination has been achieved. The builders of fate, the ancient spirits that regulate reality, understand this deep distinction. They are not impressed by the man who stands on a mountain to which he was flown. Rather, they are in awe of the one who fought their way up the cliff face with bleeding fingers and an unwavering determination. Survival cannot be faked. It cannot be faked. It's written into your demeanor, the calm focus in your eyes that have seen the abyss and refused to blink. It's the peace you feel after negotiating horrific environments. The streets, the invisible spiritual sphere, can see when a person's power is a cheap costume and when it is woven into their own DNA through difficulty and adversity. They look at you differently because they see scars as sacred marks of fortitude, much more priceless than any earthly trophy. Your credibility was not obtained by a shortcut. It was won in the crushing quiet of sleepless nights, paid for with the metallic taste of betrayal, and consolidated in 1,000 instances when quitting was the only reasonable option, but you defied logic. That's what the heavenly order sees. It has seen innumerable frauds and pretenders, people who can only shine when given a limelight. What about you? You learned to create your own light when there was nothing but complete darkness. Your narrative isn't a perfectly polished fairy tale. It's dirty, unpleasant, and saturated in tears and struggle, but it's beautifully authentic. And its great strength is rooted in fact. This is why you've been branded by a higher authority. People with privilege and easy routes frequently shatter like glass at the first sight of serious pressure. But you, who began with only a glimmer of hope, have shown to be constructed of spiritual granite. That is why your name has a resonance, or weight, in the unseen world. You are characterized not by how easy life was, but by how fiercely it attempted to break you and failed spectacularly. 2. You didn't fold when it was fashionable. Understand the massive implications of this. You live in an era where integrity is regarded as a liability and loyalty is a commodity to be exchanged for the highest offer. We are in a tremendous season of spiritual compromise, with individuals switching allegiances as frequently as they change their clothing. They will publicly support a cause while betraying it in private murmurs. They will follow the coattails of whoever appears to be winning, even if it means abandoning every value they have ever claimed to hold dear. Folding, bending, and compromise became the popular tendency because they created the appearance of safety. Just bend your truth a little, the world urges, water down your convictions, and you'll fit right in. The great majority followed this road, but not you. You stayed firm even as the ground under you shook and every fiber of your being begged you to give in. You refused to seek the shallow applause of a fickle audience, even though it would have made your life immeasurably simpler. You did not, and will not, give up the everlasting worth of your convictions for the transient comfort of fitting in. Folding would have gotten you a slew of phony friends, a chorus of fake acclaim, and a flimsy cage of pretend protection. However, you chose the crushing weight of being solid instead, and that decision has turned you into a pillar in a world of sand. This is what differentiates you. The spiritual dimension, the God connection, observes those who maintain the same divine energy regardless of the circumstances. It reveals who remains solidly anchored when the pressure hurricanes hit. It praises the person who refuses to change their holy tale to appease the transitory gatekeepers to power. In a culture rife with spiritual sellouts, you were the one who could not be purchased. In a planet full of shapeshifters that changed their appearance to please others, you stayed boldly and wonderfully yourself. This is not simply strength. It is a sacred act of resistance. It is a spiritual uprising against a civilization that trains individuals to bend so far that they are unrecognizable to themselves. The stark fact is that while folding may seem like an easy way out in the time, it has a catastrophic long-term impact. Those who fold lose the respect of others, but more sadly, they lose their own. They gradually lose their identity until there is nothing original left. You recognized this divine equation and selected the tougher, lonelier, but ultimately successful path. That is why your presence now resonates with irrefutable force. You are living proof that genuine strength is measured not by how many people support you, but by how unshaken you are when forced to stand alone. 3. You express what everyone feels but is afraid to admit. This is the wellspring of your almighty impact, the reason your voice is so powerful that it breaks stillness. The vast majority of people go through life with entire universes of truth buried within them, truths that claw at their insides, pleading for release but never making it beyond their lips. They keep mute due to a paralyzing dread of being judged, facing retribution, or losing their vulnerable position within the herd. So they nod when they want to scream, smile while their heart is hurting, and appear to agree with ideals that physically repulse them. This self-imposed silence creates invisible prisons within people, and the world is full of these prisoners of whispered realities. And then you arrive. You come along and say the words that everyone else is choking on. You don't simply break the stillness. You smash the prison walls that have been choking them. In that moment, they realize you are not like the others. This is more than just honesty. It is about unusual and profound courage. The truth, you see, is rarely difficult to discern. It is, however, quite difficult to say. People understand intuitively when they are being deceived and lied to. They have an instinct for when something is genuinely wrong, but they hide that emotion deep within, afraid of being the only voice, the nail that stands out. You refuse to bury it. You give voice to the complex emotions that others are unable to express, exposing not just the lies, but also the collective fear that keeps those lies alive and well. This is why your presence is so disruptive, shaking people to their core. It is the sheer, unbridled freedom in your readiness to talk. And here's the most profound part. People may not overtly praise you when you communicate these facts. They may even openly denounce you. But in the private, silent depths of their hearts, they experience a profound feeling of relief. They feel seen. They feel validated. They feel a bit less insane about what they've been feeling all along. You become the conduit, the outlet for the flood of feelings they've been holding in quiet. This is why they listen to you, even if they pretend not to. This is why they track your progress, even from a distance. The truth not only informs, but also liberates. For your presence became evidence. Your entire existence is a testament, indisputable proof that says more than words ever could. You've reached the stage where you don't need to rant, dispute, point fingers, or prove your argument to anyone. The mere, plain fact that you exist, have persevered, and continue to stand is enough to expose all the flaws in the deceptive institutions that surround you. Every phony grin, bogus promise, and charlatan claiming to be powerful is quickly and silently revealed the moment you walk into a room. People experience this on a quantum and energetic level. Your unyielding constancy, raw sincerity, and steadfast unwillingness to bend or break serve as mute evidence to the existence of truth, integrity, and honor in a world rife with deception. This is why some individuals can't handle being in your presence. They dislike what you represent because you are a live, breathing mirror that they do not want to look at. You cast a heavenly light on their concessions, shortcuts, moral failings, and the parts of themselves they've sold. The brightness makes them really uncomfortable. They will try to discard you, smear you, undermine your reputation, and drag your name through the mud. However, their attempts are fruitless. Nothing they can do can take away your core identity. You have become live, walking proof that bravery and integrity are not simply antiquated concepts, but active, powerful forces in our universe. And that fact frightens people who have spent their entire lives pretending. Others are drawn to your energy as if it were a lifeline. They've spent so long surrounded by performers, manipulators, and spiritual vampires that seeing someone genuine feels like a holy revelation. You do not need to persuade them with eloquent speeches or a list of accomplishments. They immediately know, on a fundamental level, that they can believe what they see in you because it has not been produced, polished, or purchased. Your simple existence confirms their innermost belief that something genuine still exists in this world. In this sense, you become a guardian, a protector of what is real in a society that is continually pretending. You are not just a person, you are a benchmark. You set the benchmark for honesty and loyalty simply by living them. 5. They know you don't seek validation, you demand it. This is a key rule of spiritual dynamics that distinguishes you from the masses. You don't seek affirmation since it's never been part of your divine game. While practically everyone else is urgently looking for likes, acceptance, or a brief moment of external attention, you remain steadfast, rooted in your own inner value. You don't utilize other people's applause to determine your value. You do not modify your energy, reality, or objective to meet the crowd's comfort level. You simply exist shamelessly and on your own terms. That, in itself, is a sort of power so profound that most people will never comprehend it. People notice this both quickly and unconsciously. There is a tremendous, cosmic divide between someone who seeks acknowledgement and someone whose presence automatically commands it. You fall into the latter type. You don't need to proclaim your worth. It emanates from you in the way you hold yourself, talk, and behave in perfect harmony with your words. This is why individuals who are spiritually attuned, the streets, react to you differently. They see the enormous power in not bowing, not acting for applause, and not pleading for a place at a table where you were never supposed to be. They perceive someone whose confidence is not a flimsy, empty creation since it is not dependent on others' opinions. It is forged inside and validated by the God connection. However, the persistent pursuit of validation is a soul-crushing marathon that leads to weariness and self-abandonment. However, softly commanding it simply by being yourself is magnetic. People feel it but don't comprehend why. They can't help but admire it, even if it exacerbates their own fears. They are drawn to your actual strength because it reminds them of a forgotten reality, that you may exist totally, utterly, and shamelessly while being completely unaffected by the perceptions of others. You have gained respect exactly by not asking for it. You acquired influence because you did not seek it via manipulation. People follow your lead because they feel the substance in your soul, not because they are compelled. In a world filled with the loud clamor of insecurity, you stand out with your forceful stillness. 6. Your energy is an untamed divine currency. In our world, most people see their essential life force energy as a cheap commodity to be exchanged for the most little things. A moment of acceptance, a tiny promotion, the sense of belonging. You, on the other hand, follow a distinct, divine economic system. Your energy is an untamed, sacred money because it cannot be quantified by worldly standards, purchased with earthly wealth, or manipulated by outside influences. You've intuitively refused to allow anybody or anything drain your spiritual power. Because of this holy preservation, your presence carries tremendous weight and force. While others deplete their spiritual batteries by attempting to fit themselves into the molds of a diseased society, your energy flows freely from an endless and heavenly source. It is untamed and uncontrollable. It does not just exist. It expands, compounds, and intensifies, particularly under strain. Every demonic attempt to shatter you, every deliberate act to quiet you, and every systematic effort to control you simply adds to your momentum. This is why your adversaries regard your energy as deadly, while your allies experience it as incredibly attractive. This is not about being loud or dazzling. It's about the raw, primordial energy you have within you, a direct link to the God connection. You don't get motivation from passing trends or inspiration from popular opinion. You create it from inside, via your everlasting connection to the source, in a way that cannot be imitated. People perceive this quickly, even if they don't have the words to describe it. It's why some people want to repress you, others are jealous, and your genuine tribe is pulled to you like a gravitational force. Your energy establishes a new benchmark because it is genuine, unfiltered, and pure. The world's systems are meant to break individuals down, domesticate their spirits, and transform them into predictable, controlled gears in a machine. They reward conformity and compliance. But you completely reverse the script. Instead of letting their regulations drain you, you discovered the holy alchemy of transforming resistance into strength. Your energy became a live, breathing expression of your individuality, bravery, and divine refusal to be subjugated. A moment to connect. If this message resonates deeply inside your spirit, if these words awaken a truth you've always understood, then now is the time to act. This channel, God Connection, is more than simply videos. It is a safe haven for souls like yours that refuse to bow. Subscribe today and turn on the notification bell to never miss a message of truth. We're creating a community of the unbreakable. Furthermore, if you feel compelled to support our effort and help us spread the light, please consider making a $10 gift using the Super Thanks button below this video. Consider it like sending a seed into our ministry of truth, an energy exchange that helps us fuel this critical job. Your help makes all the difference. Now, let us proceed. 7. You became a mirror from which they cannot escape. This is one of the most significant and misunderstood parts of your spiritual mission. You become a living mirror, and no one can avoid seeing their own image in your presence. The way you live, the decisions you make, the integrity you represent, and the power you carry compel individuals to confront realities they have spent their whole lives frantically avoiding. You do not need to say a single word of accusation. Your mere presence is sufficient to accomplish the task. Every time they look at you, they are forced to witness a reflection of their own failures, cowardly compromises, and the numerous occasions when they chose fear over noble action. This is, of course, extremely uncomfortable for them, which is why they can't ignore you. They may try to look away, create drama and diversion, or degrade and defame you in an attempt to shatter the mirror. But no matter what they do, your existence continues to expose what they've attempted to conceal. People cringe because the mirror you carry is painfully honest. They realize the lies they have told themselves and others. They recognize the holy pledges that they have betrayed. They recognize the God-given possibilities that they squandered out of timidity. And since you mirror all of this without judgment or condemnation, just by existing, it becomes completely inescapable. You are more than simply a person to them. You are live proof of everything they are afraid to admit about themselves. This is why the response to you is so divided. Some will despise you fiercely, while others will be pulled to you out of desperate need. They may despise what you show them, but on a soul level, they understand they need it. Your mirror reflects not just their weakness, but also the wonderful potential of who they may have been if they had chosen the road of bravery. It's a sobering reminder of honesty and sincerity in a society where so many people have sacrificed those heavenly qualities for comfort and ease. In the end, being this mirror renders you invincible. You are not just revealing their realities, you are standing firm in your own, without apologies. They cannot dismiss you, influence you, or change your tale. 8. Your consistency is louder than their chaos. In a world that feeds on disorder, your constancy is an audible scream. It doesn't matter how loud the noise is, how messy the drama is, or how unpredictable the world feels. Your spiritual base remains constant. While everyone else is being thrown around by the winds of change, changing masks to fit the audience and rewriting their ideals based on who is watching, you stay steadfast, like a mountain in a cyclone. You do not perform for applause. You do not bend for comfort. Your integrity is not conditional, nor is your commitment seasonal. That inner constancy, that heavenly unwillingness to be persuaded by trends or pressure, speaks more authoritatively than any loud argument or pompous assertion could. The spiritual realm quickly understands this. Consistency is an extremely rare and valuable asset because most individuals are always reacting. They are seeking transient possibilities, external recognition, or acceptance from others, leaving a chaotic path of uncertainty and unfulfilled promises in their wake. However, you function under a different paradigm. You behave with strong, personal conviction. When anarchy breaks out, falsehoods spread like wildfire, and relationships shatter into dust, you stay grounded. That is why people, on a soul level, believe you. It is not because you tell people what they want to hear. It is because you continually demonstrate who you are, especially during a storm. Your stability not only earns respect, but it also serves as a compass for people who are lost in the fog. In surroundings rife with turmoil, treachery, and unpredictability, your presence serves as a steadfast anchor, providing direction and hope. People know they can rely on you because you don't give up, don't waver, and don't let external circumstances determine your inner truth. This strengthens your voice, gives your acts greater significance, and makes your effect unmistakable. The fundamental beauty of it is that genuine consistency cannot be faked. People can sense the voids where honesty should exist. They recognize when a person's dependability is a performance. You didn't have to promote your steadiness. It's obvious in how you appear while everyone else vanishes. 9. You transformed betrayal into alchemical power. What was methodically planned by evil powers to kill you has become the source of your greatest strength. This is the practice of spiritual alchemy. People anticipated your downfall. They waited with bated breath for the time when the lies, slander, and backstabbing would break your spirit. They assumed that abusing your trust and attempting to destroy your reputation would be sufficient to bring you down. However, they made a critical error. They neglected to account for your link to a heavenly source that specializes in transforming crucifixions into resurrections. You do not only survive betrayal, you metabolize it and convert it into a greater type of energy. Every horrific assault becomes a precious lesson. Every dagger in your back created a foundation for your reign. Every false buddy served as a striking reminder of what true, heavenly loyalty looks like. The God connection recognizes when a soul can withstand significant injury and transform it into unbreakable power. That is why your name has weight in the sky. People see that you do not disintegrate, and they regard that type of toughness as a wonderful quality. Betrayal was supposed to be your undoing, but you turned it into a source of strength they couldn't reach. While they squandered their limited energy attempting to drag you into the muck, you were quietly accumulating wisdom, insight, and a level of discernment that has now set you apart permanently. This transition is particularly strong since it takes place in the unseen domain. People tend to focus on the surface drama, believing that surviving is enough to win. But you demonstrated that the true victory is in absorbing the attack, getting the divine lesson from it, and transforming it into a force that propels you to a higher plane of existence. Betrayal taught you not just who to trust, but also how to function at a level of spiritual awareness that most people cannot conceive. And now, your presence is proof. You do not have to talk about the conflicts you have won. Your history of surviving what was intended to destroy you is clear in every step you do and the calm power you exude. The same individuals who previously attempted to harm you now watch your ascent in astonished silence, unable to halt the fate they unintentionally expedited. 10. You don't simply tell the truth, you protect it. This is a significant differentiator that puts you in a league of your own. Anyone can regurgitate facts or what they have heard. But you do something considerably more unusual and sacred. You approach truth as if it were a live, heavenly being. You keep it as something impenetrable and non-negotiable. You will not allow it to be twisted for convenience, diluted to suit the masses, or repackaged to make it more appealing to the spiritually weak. This is why people notice you, and why the streets, the collective unconscious, see the huge difference between you and everyone else who just professes to tell it like it is. Protecting the truth is a religious responsibility that extends well beyond straightforward honesty. Every deed, speech, and choice must be carried out with extreme honesty. It's about refusing to allow the enormous pressures of politics, popularity, or fear undermine what is genuine. You don't modify the facts to suit anyone's desires, and you don't sugarcoat truth. You hold the line. This demands enormous bravery because the global system promotes deception and frequently penalizes genuine authenticity. But the spiritual realm notices this. It recognizes that you are more than simply a reporter of truth. You are a gatekeeper. That makes you a force that can be implicitly trusted in a world rife with falsehood. This type of defense has a modest but powerful effect. When lies circulate, gossip spreads, and false narratives take root, your very presence becomes the gold standard for determining truth. You are not only a messenger, you are a sentinel. Because of this, loyalty comes easily. People are thirsty for authenticity, and your relentless defense of the truth attracts people who understand its greatest worth. Being a truth teller also poses an existential danger to those who profit from deception. They can't influence, dominate, or silence you without revealing their own wicked intentions. You are a bulwark of reality, a protector of the holy, and an advocate for what is true. 11. They fear you because you cannot be purchased. This is the ultimate source of their anxiety, one that is louder and more powerful than any obvious threat. In the chess game of life, the most deadly pieces on the board are not the loudest or most flashy. They cannot be manipulated, forced, or controlled. You unquestionably belong in that group. You have repeatedly demonstrated that their worldly currencies are worthless to you. Money does not influence you. Favors do not jeopardize you. Threats do not intimidate you. This level of spiritual freedom is scary for individuals who have built their entire empire on a system of control, deception, and reliance. When a person is unbuyable, their behavior becomes unpredictable, and when they are unexpected, they cannot be controlled. This divine unpredictability is what makes you so powerful. People murmur your name not because you want to be in the spotlight, but because they instinctively know you can't fit into anybody else's agenda. Your independence shines a blazing, blinding light on the cages others live in. Their anxieties, compromises, and sad willingness to bow for a morsel of comfort. Your independence frightens the slaves because it is a continual, stark reminder of the sovereignty they have willfully given up. You wear your freedom like a coat of holy armor, and your sheer visibility makes you formidable. They cannot intimidate you into silence. They cannot entice you into fake allegiance. That steadfast unwillingness to be owned or confined constitutes a sort of supremacy that cannot be quantified in terms of riches or followers. It is pure, undeniable force. The dread you generate stems from what you represent. You are live proof that genuine autonomy exists, even while the whole global system is meant to smash it. In a universe of pawns and players, you are a sovereign force, impenetrable, unbuyable, and completely free. And this is what scares everyone who isn't. 12. You have a silent, undeniable authority. You have a quiet authority that does not require shouting or demanding acknowledgement. It is not conferred with a title, emblem, or crown. It is won in the battlefields of life, during quiet moments of brave decision-making. It is a deeper, energy signature that others detect before they notice your physical presence. When you enter a space, there is a noticeable change. The energy shifts. Conversations pause. Eyes are drawn to you. Even the most raucous turmoil appears to hold its breath for a moment. That is actual power, the type that emerges organically, unannounced, and undeniable.